Hey everyone, lead trainer with StocksToTrade, Tim Bohen here. Today we're going to be talking through one of the I know I keep saying it every video, but another great feature of StocksToTrade, and it's actually integration with TipRanks. Okay, if you're familiar with TipRanks, it's a great website that shows you what the analysts are thinking, what insiders are thinking, and what the hedge funds are doing. Okay, like this is a great piece of data, whether you're short-term or even long-term trading, to really get a snapshot as to what the market's thinking right now. So I brought up Apple just because it's a great company, obviously, and a good example because there's a lot of data. Obviously, there's a lot of analysts that are tracking Apple. There's a lot of insiders that are trading the stock, and there's a lot of hedge funds that are also involved in this company. So it's a good example. So I'll just kind of walk you through. The first screen is actually the analyst rating. Now, I know sometimes you maybe heard me make fun of analysts every now and then. It's kind of a weird business. They're like paid to talk about companies, so you always wonder their motivations. But there's good ones and there's bad ones, and you know what firms to look for. Something I won't talk about here because I don't want them to murder me. But there's like good analysts and there's really, really sketchy analysts. You might know some of the names. So looking at a company like Apple, none of the sketchy guys are all over it, okay? You see JP Morgan, Jefferies, okay, Evercore, UBS, Bank of America, Citi, Barclays, Morgan Stanley, Oppenheimer, on down the line. And what this represents is what their current read, based on their research, whether they think it's a buy, a sell, or a hold, okay? So that's the way analyst ratings are issued. They say, hey, I think the stock's going up. I think you should buy it. They might say, hey, things are kind of, okay right now, but I don't see a lot of upside or downside, so just stand firm and hold your Apple. You can see that's what the guy at Jefferies says. The guy at JP Morgan says it's a buy. Then you'll have sell ratings. You'll have analysts that are like, hey, I don't think the iPhone 16 is going to be all it's cracked up to be. You should sell the stock, which you can do two different things. You can either take your profits and move on, or a lot of the times people short stocks with a bunch of sell ratings because basically the analysts, through their research, are saying, I think it's going down. So if it's going down and you're long, you don't want to give back profits, you move on. Vice versa, if you're short bias, you'd be like, whoa, all these analysts think it's going down, I'll short it. Next, you'll see the price target. So that's what they think the stock will be trading at in the short to long term. 265 in the example of this guy from JP Morgan, stock's trading at 222 today. So he thinks, there's $40 a share of upside on this thing. The hold guy thinks it's going to trade around 212. Again, it's trading at 222, which I know is different, but not huge. Basically, he's saying it's just going to be in this 210, 220 area, and he doesn't really see any big upside in the future. So he's just saying staying pat. Next, you can see what they've done. So going back to the guy from JP Morgan, he reiterated his buy rating on, just recently. You can see the date. He reiterated 10/7 today. He reiterated that he still thinks it's a buy. The guy below him from Jefferies, he actually downgraded it. So he went from a buy to a hold. And again, today. So you can see the date. You can also see what they said. And then the cool thing is, each one of these has an associated article. So you can jump over here and read the rationale. So you could read the rationale from the guy from JP Morgan or Jefferies or the others, and then you could kind of critique that and make your own decision. Hey, maybe you disagree. Maybe again, the guy from Jefferies that downgraded it, maybe you read his research and you're like, no, I don't like your downgrade. I'm going to buy some. Remember, one of the things I do as well as teach is free thinking. Have your own opinions. The great thing about this is you can read the research, you can read all of them, and then make your own determination from there. So I'm going to jump back up to the left, and you can see basically the analyst consensus. And in the instance of Apple, you'll see out of all of the analysts that are covering this company, 68% say it's a buy, so roughly, 2/3 think it's a buy. About 1/3 think it's a hold. So again, 2/3 are saying buy it. About a third are saying stay in pat. And then you can just see a few of them are saying sell. So they think it's going down. So why not? You can quickly look at this and see that, well, if I agree with the analysts and I respect the analysts, then I'm going to buy some stock or I'm going to stand pat, because there's only a couple of them that are bearish the stock. Then you can actually see a real-time representation of the analyst's bullish and bearishness over the last 12 months. So you can see if they're getting more bearish, more bullish, or standing pat, and you can see that trend, as well as the aggregate price analyst price. Okay, so their targets, price targets. So you can see the aggregate is 248, stock's trading at 222, decent upside. But then you can also see the high estimate, the guy that's way out there, he's saying 300, and the guy at the low end at 186. So then you can also drill in and see who's at that price level, who's the most bullish, who's the most bearish, and as well in the middle, and then you've got a trend. So it's a really handy feature to not have to go out there and dig for this data. You could Google for a lot of this stuff, but it would take a lot of time. Like Googling all these analysts, like you'd have to Google who's the analyst on Apple, then you'd have to Google that guy, then you'd have to find his research, which to me, it's useful. Like you want to know this, but I don't want to spend hours trying to find it when it's all in one place. And this is built into StocksToTrade. Next is the insiders, okay? Remember, insiders know the real story. Analysts are looking at it from the outside. So you're a stock analyst, you do your research, maybe you visit the company, maybe you talk to the executives, and then you write up your report and issue your price target. When you've got insiders, those are the people that are working in the company. Executives, high-level management, people that have to file when they buy and sell. And you can see right now, pretty bearish from insiders, okay? You've got a real-time read. You can go through all the buys and sells, okay? A lot of selling on Apple. Maybe they know something. Even Tim Cook. Oh, Tim Cook bought some. Look at that. So there you go. CEO bought $50 million in Apple just a week ago. So looks like Tim Cook thinks the iPhone's going to do well. Now, a lot of the other guys are all selling. Now, you always have to remember the motivations, okay? It could simply be, like don't get too, excited or like I did when I saw all the insiders selling. But like you got to understand their motivations. Who knows? Maybe Deidre wanted to buy a new house. She's up a bunch on her Apple. So she just sold because she wanted to buy a house or a yacht or whatever. But at the end of the day, you can see there's a lot more insiders selling than insiders are buying. And you can see right up here, corporate insiders sold shares worth $22 million in the last 6 months. So not, a lot of money coming out of Apple. So you can see that real time. The most recent sell was on the 3rd, which was 4 days ago. Same day Tim Cook bought. You can do your research and make your decision from there. Then the last is, what are the hedge funds thinking? The big money, okay? And you can see here that the majority of the hedge funds are selling. They've recently upticked that selling, and really selling versus buying way skewed one size, and you can kind of see selling's going up. So right at the top, Uncle Warren, okay? A lot of people heard about this. He's been selling his Apple. Now, as always, you have to understand the motivations, okay? If you look at Warren Buffett, he was in Apple a long time ago. So as always with any data, you got to kind of think about it. Like if he's up massive amounts, he might just think that the further upside is a little limited. He's going to go to cash and maybe invest in something else. So don't be like, whoa, Warren. Like when the news hit, everybody started freaking out. And I'm like, listen, he bought it like decades ago. He's made, I don't know the number. He's probably up billions. Maybe he's just looking at Apple. He's like, I'm up a lot. I'm looking at, other plays. I'm going to take that cash and reinvest it in something else. Like that's what Warren Buffett does. But I also have to say, when Warren Buffett's selling your stock, you might want to be like, whoa, if Warren's selling and I'm up a lot, maybe I want to follow Uncle Warren. So you can see relative sells versus buys and what they've done over the last quarter, whether they were buying or selling. And again, you can see the position sizes, who it is, what they're doing, all in real time. It's a great feature, especially for longer term holds and swing trades, and it's built into StocksToTrade. So if you want this feature, I love it. Use it all the time on swing trades and longer term holds. It's built in. You can get access to StocksToTrade simply by hitting that link below and start using TipRanks.